Hi subscribers, welcome to video number 2 for Taurus 2019. This is of course on the Sun's transit through Taurus, but also on the transition from Aries to Taurus. So let's start there. When we're in Aries, we have that sense of new beginning and stepping out in a new direction and doing something new and feeling inspired, and right, the thing about spring and the vernal equinox and it's inspiration is here, and a sense of newness, right, renewal. And we might be all over the place because we might have 13 things or 7 things or 25 things that we're inspired about. Aries is great for beginning things, but it's not for finishing things. So you have to kind of look ahead to Saturn and Capricorn, Capricorn being the 10th sign, right? The cardinal earth sign, right? Aries being the cardinal fire sign is like allowing inspiration, is how I often think about it. So when the sun is in Aries, you're not thinking much. You may be exploring, you may be trying things on for size, you might be improvising, you might be, doing reflex, like catching mugs when they fall. I'm thinking about like the kinds of examples I use all the time for Aries energy, unmediated action. Now, it's also about individuation in a certain way. It's not the Aquarius, Uranus, 11th house individuation of, what is unique about what I have to offer and how I see the world and what future would I like to live in? It's not that individuation. It's the, I'm in a body. Oh, that's what it feels like. It's that kind of individualizing behaviors. So independence, when the sun's in Aries, we see, I want to do these things on my own, or I really want to do this. And somebody else might say, but what about this? You say, no, I'm doing this. But that's the kind of thing about Aries. Now, just to be fair, keep in mind the thing about Pisces. The transition from Pisces to Aries was Pisces, relax, let go. Don't pay attention to things. Don't count things. Don't know what time it is. You don't need your keys today. Into Aries, wait, now I have to act. So after a month of acting, right? After a month of responding and being physical and doing all those things, then we get into Taurus, which is about slowing down. The month of Aries can be frenetic for some people. Now, I do want to put your attention on what I told you last month. And again, some of you are new, so you wouldn't have heard this. But at the vernal equinox, when the sun entered Aries a month ago, it was conjunct Chiron in early Aries. That changes everything. Every year, the sun into Aries is about this sense of renewal and stepping forward. But conjunct Chiron, it means we have a sensitivity to being assertive. We have a sensitivity to not wanting to be engaged in conflict. So we might edit ourselves a little bit. We might hold back. We might know something but not act on it. We have a sense that we want to do something and not do it, or that we need to do something and kind of put it off. That's a Chiron influence, potentially. Now, if you feel into things and you're willing to allow your vulnerability, your sensitivity to energy and emotion and how people affect you, how things and energies and conversations and things in the air in a room affect you, and you're grounded enough to function anyway, then you can, make use of that Chiron in Aries with the sun last month as, taking a step forward in a unique way, trusting yourself, developing courage to, do what you need to do for yourself, even if others look at you funny. So usually Aries is that outgoing thing. Well, this month, or this year, last month, it was colored by its conjunction to Chiron. So just for a while now, any planet going from Pisces into Aries, just be aware of this, and it's happening this month. Mercury at the end of Aries, and so at the beginning of Taurus, Mercury is conjunct Chiron, but Venus in late Pisces at the start of the month will conjunct this soon. And, it's different. It's different. Chiron is a marker of uniqueness, but that sensitivity to, is this the right thing to do? What if it doesn't work? What if I'm rejected? It's really about rejection from others, because if you're not familiar with my Chiron teaching, I kind of go beyond the wounded healer thing of the Chiron in the mythology as an adult, where he's wounded by the poisoned arrow, but since he's immortal, he can't die, so it's perpetual suffering. He uses all of his tricks and tools as a healer, and there are many, to attempt to heal himself, but he can't, and he eventually makes this arrangement to trade places with Prometheus, who was having his liver eaten out rather inconveniently every day by this giant bird, vulture or eagle, depending on the story or the telling. And anyway, so this teaches us that, you know, the story as we've received it with Chiron since 1977, when Chiron entered, you know, the astrological vocabulary, seems to have to do with maybe death is preferable to some kinds of suffering. Maybe certain things can't be healed. Which to me is a failure of imagination. So what I do with it is say wounding and healing are byproducts of energetic and emotional sensitivity. So I call Chiron the energy antenna in the natal chart within a person, but in general as it transits in the sky, the energy antenna, we're asked to learn how to deal with ourselves as energetic beings. So that colored the sensitivity to rejection, maybe. Oh, so the story I tell with Chiron is from at birth when he was rejected by his mother, which seems to me, you know, pretty significant. Taurus, doing one thing at a time. Right, in Aries, might have a bunch of ideas, fiery inspiration. Taurus, doing one thing at a time to ensure survival. So we think of, you know, Taurus second house as about money and possessions, but it's really about living according to your own value system, deciding what's important and doing one thing at a time. Like in Virgo, you're going to make a list and then pick the top 3 things out of the 10 things. But in Taurus, you're looking at the bare bones essentials. You're not analyzing data. You're looking at it and saying, gosh, yeah, I guess I need food to survive. Okay, well, how can I get food? Okay, well, I have to have money. Well, how do I get money? One thing at a time. Well, I have to do something that has value that others value, and they'll give me money. Okay, well, what kinds of things could be done, or what's worth doing? Your value system determines how you earn money, and therefore how you survive. So when the sun's in Taurus, there's a light shining, the giant flashlight in the sky, shining on what is necessary. And it is not 15,000 things. The guaranteed answer, looking through the lens of Taurus, is that there are certain things that can be dropped. So Aries, all over the place, 10 things, 20 things, 30 things. Taurus, what is really important? What do I need out of all these things? Well, I have a bunch of ideas. Which actually could bear fruit? That's Taurus. And like I said, when you focus on one thing at a time to discern if it's valuable, if it can help you survive, then you find that a lot of things that are in your house and in your pockets and in your car, you don't need them. Like things. You realize you don't need them. And then you realize, and I talked about this in terms of Uranus being in Taurus in the last video and last year when Uranus dipped its toe into Taurus before its retrograde period, when it first made the ingress. But the idea of like how you use your resources reflects your value system and reflects how adept you are at surviving. How you use your money and time. Do you go into debt and then not figure out how to come out of it? Do you, you know, conserve time, energy, and money to the point that you don't enjoy anything? You know, are you minimalist, right? Are you kind of a Spartan type? You know, how do you use your time? What do you pay attention to? Think about that phrase, pay attention. I paid attention to that person. I wasted my time on that project. These are all kind of Taurus ideas. So Uranus is already there, so you need to individuate and create freedom for yourself, elbow room within how you use time, energy, money, and all other resources. But then the sun shines the big light on it. Of course, sun will, as soon as it hits Taurus, it's 2 1/3-ish degrees away. I think Uranus will be at 222 at that point, or 220 Taurus. But you know, giant flashlight on the need to individuate and free yourself from how you currently use your time, energy, money. It could be something like, you know,